Hello, hi y'all. I'm actually driving this time. I finally got a dashboard mount, so testing it out and seeing what the hype is all about. Hopefully this works for me. The sun is killing me. Well, it's actually giving me life right now because I look like an oil slick, and that makes me look young, so that's great. So I have had a lot of, I wouldn't even call it trials, just a lot of happenings happening. And I have been just going through this with so much peace, because this is not something that I haven't been through before. And so, you know, all the tricks and all the stress that the enemy tries to do, all the nightmares and you know, just things that have been happening, it's just like I'm just not as affected by it. Okay, the sun, you know, I'm just not as affected by it anymore, and I'm grateful to God for that. You know, that it's just not, it's not bothering me the way that it used to. But the reason that I'm making this video is because last night, and this is a completely separate part of my testimony that I actually haven't ever, I don't think I've made a video about it ever, but I, for a long time, had a problem with, and when I say problem, like, it was one of my habitual sins when I was younger was pornography, was masturbating, was you know, just sexual immorality. And I wouldn't say that I was ever like a loose girl, but the pornography thing was really a problem for me when I was younger. I was exposed to it at a very young age, and way before I was able to even conceptualize what biblical sex was supposed to be. I wasn't even Christian, you know, so the morality of it all was blurry, and I knew that it was not something that I should have been doing because I was Muslim when I came across it, but it was just one of those sins that remained secret in my life. And obviously I've been delivered from pornography for a long time now, and whenever trials come, I made a video last night basically saying that the enemy doesn't have new tricks. He just has the same old tricks that he's going to continue to try to use against God's people. And so with all of these happening, with all of these, you know, just circumstances, things happening, you know, things at work. I'm a property manager, so whenever we have like a fire or a flood or any kind of incident inside of our building, I have to respond to it. And on Monday, today is Wednesday now, on Monday there was a fire flood in the building next to us that seeped over into our side with their water damage. So I have been triage, trying to make sure that I'm taking care of the residents, making sure that I'm getting the property back to how it's supposed to be, and dealing with vendors and all things like that. And in the midst of this fire flood incident, my maintenance person that works for the same company that I do also put in his resignation. So normally my maintenance person would be assisting with, you know, getting things taken care of, getting the property back to how it's supposed to be. Now, not only do I have to make sure that the property is taken care of, the residents are taken care of, but I also now have to make sure that we have a temporary maintenance person for the meantime, and I have to hire a new maintenance person. So I have to do all the, you know, hiring and all that stuff. And getting residents relocated and all that stuff takes a lot of time, dealing with hotels and people's family members and all those things takes a lot of time. And obviously I've been very tired, and last night just so that I could go to sleep, because all of these happenings at work caused me to have quite a bit of anxiety. And not necessarily anxiety, but like there's adrenaline, because there's things that I'm constantly doing, like my mind is just on go. And so I had to take some Tylenol PM for pain in my shoulder, and so that it would help me be able to go to sleep. And wouldn't you know, as I'm sleeping, I'm having weird dreams, but the weirdest part of the dream that I can remember is that there was like a pornographic scene. And mind you, I haven't watched porn in a long time. I don't watch porn. It's not something that I'm slave to anymore. But I'm seeing a pattern now, is why I'm making this video. I'm seeing the pattern. The enemy tries to use my anxiety and my need for stress relief, because, you know, dealing with all these things at work, and, you know, also having to be a full-time parent to my 6-year-old child, and you know, having to be present and make sure that I'm still spending the time with him that he needs, and other issues dealing with his father and all that stuff, and being single, all that stuff, it causes anxiety. It causes a need to relieve stress. And these dreams that the enemy uses to manipulate your mind and to plant seeds of sexual immorality, that is the pattern that he's using to keep me in bondage. And the Lord is so good in his revelation, because he will, like, the enemy is so stupid. And I just talked about this again last night in a video that I made, that the enemy is crazy. Like, he's actually insane. He will continue to try to use the same thing in order to bring you down. And all you have to do is wise up. Like, okay, if I see that every time my life gets stressful, I am falling into the same kind of sin, or I'm falling into sin, then I need to have my spiritual eyes open and realize that the enemy is using circumstances to tempt me. And I was also thinking last night about, like, what is temptation, because I was watching a show with my son, and in this show, one of the characters was saying, or no, actually, he was reading a book. He was reading the First Golden Bible, so it's like a picture book Bible. And he was reading the part where Jesus was being tempted by the enemy after his 40-day fast, or during his 40-day fast. And he was reading the part where normally it would say, Jesus would have said to Satan, do not tempt the Lord, because Satan was telling him, oh, you can jump off this building and the Lord will send, you know, a host of angels to rescue you. And in the KJV version, it would say, do not tempt the Lord. But in the children's picture book, it said, do not test God's love. And after I put my son to bed last night, I was just thinking about it. Like, isn't that what temptation is? It is a test of your love for the Lord. Like, are you going to, and really your love for any commitment that you've made, but especially for the Lord, like, are you going to keep to the promises that you made to him, or are you going to, are you going to keep to the promises that you made to the Lord, or are you going to go for this bright, shiny, delicious looking thing that might be right in front of you? Like, that is what temptation is. It's just a test of love. And all we have to do is remind ourselves and constantly pour into your mind that the present things, the present temptations, the present issues, whatever it is nothing compared to the love that the Lord has for us and his plans for our lives. And so falling for these temptations is never ever going to be worth it. It's never ever going to satisfy us. So that's what I was thinking about, and then I had this dream last night, and it just occurred to me, like, the enemy has tried to use stress in my life to tempt me to do sin instead of believing God for what God has promised me, which is, of course, you know, a complete home, a husband, and you know, just a blessed union, and life more abundantly in that way. I've always had the desire to be a wife, and I think it's a really honorable thing for women, honestly. And I don't think in the 21st century women see marriage for what it's supposed to be biblically, but I see it as something to be revered. You know, being able to have a happy, healthy, biblical, godly marriage is a beautiful thing if you've ever seen it. So yeah, I was making this video because a lot of us, and all of us, honestly, we suffer trials, and then the enemy uses whatever it is. It could be gambling, it could be lust, it could be greed, it could be jealousy, it could be strife. Whatever it is that you normally fall for, he uses trials to convince you that his way is either going to get you whatever you want quicker, or going to provide you some kind of release, some kind of relief. But he's a liar. He is a liar. And when I was younger, I didn't realize when I would have these sexual dreams that I need to wake up when I do wake up, I need to pray against that, to repent for the dream that I had, to repent for what I did in the dream, because the dream realm is actually it's also the spirit realm, but in a different way. So like, things can be planted in the dream realm and manifest in your life. I know everybody's had deja vu, right? Things can be planted in the dream realm and come and manifest in your waking hours, in your walking life. And so if you are not vigilant about your dream life and protecting your praying against things and praying God's protection over yourself, once you do wake up, then those things very well can manifest. That sin very well can manifest, you know, in your waking hours. And it's just up to us to make sure that we are not feeding our eyes, not feeding our ears, anything that would lend us to temptation. We don't need to tempt ourselves. The enemy is going to try you. Promise. You don't have to listen to the sexual music. You don't have to listen to the violent music. You don't have to watch the ghetto TV shows. You don't have to engage with the enemy at all. He will do the temptation for you, because you're going to be tempted in this life, right? It's gonna happen. But you don't have to be your own enemy in that case. So I hope that this video helps someone. If you have any thoughts, please leave them down below. And as always, y'all be blessed in Jesus' name.